On today's question of faith, what are you doing for Holy Week? Hey everybody, I am Mike Hayes. This is Question of Faith, and I'm the Director of Young Adult Ministry in the Diocese of Cleveland.
And I'm Father Damian Ference, the Vicar for Evangelization.
Just the two of us.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so, hey, before we get into what we're doing for Holy Week, what's the end of Lent like for you? How's it been going?
It's been going really well. I still haven't had any alcohol, which is great. And I haven't had any dark chocolate, which is great.
There you go.
I've been sleeping pretty well.
Nice.
And, yeah, it's been a good Lent thus far.
Yeah, same here. I have officially kicked diet soda out of my life.
Wow. What do you have here?
Iced tea? Yeah,
okay.
Just a little iced tea today. That's rare. I've really kind of gotten into my little bougie LaCroix water, and I've been drinking that, and that is, I don't miss it at all, which is good. So I think I'm not going to go back this time. I kicked this once before and went back to it. So now I'm determined not to go back. I really don't need it. The other thing that I did for Lent, we'll get to the elevator in a second, but I went to confession every 15 days.
Wow.
I think you had pointed me in the direction the Pope
Francis does that every 2 weeks, yeah.
Yeah, he had an article that said he goes every 15 days, and I said, let me try that. Interestingly enough, what I found is, you go the first time and you say the sins for, let's say you didn't go for in my case, it was 2 months, right? And so the length of my sins I thought were rather lengthy at that time for 2 months. You would think it would have gotten shorter. No. I discovered more things that I do that don't really take a lot of time to do. Most of my sins are 10 or 15 seconds at the most, And so I found that I had more to do, but I also found that the grace of the sacrament and going more frequently led me to avoid some of those things. So it was good. So it's been a good sort of interior Lent.
Yeah, the closer you get to the light, the more the light exposes your sins. So that's it's a good thing.
Yeah, exactly. And then here's a little elevator update. They did open the stairwell here, and I have on occasion gone up and down the stairs. I've never made it all the way up to from floor 1 to floor 5 yet. But I went to my doctor. I had a checkup. Everything's fine. I don't have diabetes. All the things that run my family I'm not getting, so that's good. My weight's a little up, and so he made a recommendation. And listeners, if any of you do this and have some recommendations for me, it would be great. He recommended working out using virtual reality because he does it himself. And so I'm considering doing this. I think this is a really good idea, and I think it would help me move around a lot more. And do it without distractions. I find myself on treadmills and bikes and things like that I do have, but I find myself distracted very easily when I'm doing it. It's kind of boring. So I think this might help me focus a little more. Yeah,
I knock out tons of emails when I'm on the treadmill, and whether that's good or not, I don't know. But when I'm working out, with weights, which I do 3 times a week at least, that's when I'm away from the phone. I mean, I'm listening to music often, but the other thing is the older you get, the more you have to do not just cardio, you actually have to do weight training or at least your body weight so that you can keep your muscle mass. And the more you exercise in terms of weight training and muscle mass business, your body burns calories all day. When you're done working out with cardio, your body slowly or quickly gets back to whatever it's doing. But when you lift, your body's burning calories all day. So that's a pretty important part of it.
Yeah. So I think it's going to be good.
That's cool.
Yeah, I'm looking into it. So.
And as you mentioned the diet soda, you also mentioned the Buble or your bougie water. During Lent, I drink mocktails. So if I'm out with my friends and they're having a cocktail, I like the big ice cube and pour some soda water over it, or ginger ale, or a Buble or a LaCroix, and I feel like I'm having a drink. I'm not having a drink, and it's good.
My friend Phyllis used to have a faux-tini, she would say. It was like a martini without any vodka in it.
Yeah, there's something, to be part of the community when people are having a drink, have something, even if it's not a real drink.
Yeah.
But it's been good. It's good for me.
Good for us.
Yeah.
Good job, Lent. Hopefully you've had as good of a Lent as we have had this year.
Although the devil's still got, a couple weeks of temptation to go here, so beware.
Exactly.
Yeah, don't give up too soon.
Exactly. And so, we're heading to Lent. We're going to kick off Lent with a pre-Holy Week pilgrimage in Lakewood.
I cannot wait.
Yeah, you're all pumped about it. It's great.
Well, let's
Not
see.
that I'm not, but you're particularly pumped
Well,
about it.
let's see. So Saturday, the chance of rain is 60%.
Oh, of course it is.
But remember last year, it rained and it snowed, and we went on a 7-mile pilgrimage, and there were 80 people there. So part of this is it's a challenge. It's supposed to be hard. It's not supposed to be a walk in the park. It's supposed to be a 6-mile pilgrimage. So,
Yeah, that's good.
But we start out 9:30 at St. Luke's.
Correct.
And then we'll pray there, and then we'll walk down to Cyril and Methodius, or the Transfiguration, Cyril and Methodius Church, Transfiguration Parish on Madison, and then we'll head up to St. Clement's, and then over to St. James, and then back to St. Luke's.
Nice. Yeah. And we'll have a little lunch at St. Luke's at the end of it.
Yeah, I can't wait. It's going to be awesome.
Our buddy Max Hall is busy preparing lunch for us.
Good.
So it'll be fun. Yeah. And Max and I walked the route ourselves. So, I would say that it is indeed challenging because it's long, but it's not like you're going, over hill, over dale,
Yeah. Now, will we have bandanas or not?
Yes, we're having Thursday.
Yes!
They're coming in on Thursday. Yeah.
Yes, so that way we can time around our heads, or around our necks, or around our arms, and we can identify ourselves as pilgrims.
Confession is good for the soul. The other day, I'm in class, and my phone goes off. I look at it, and it's a text from you. It said, "Hey, did we ever get those bandanas?" And I literally went,
Yeah, well.
I completely forgot to send this guy an updated file of what we wanted to print. And I was like, okay, I think we could still get them because the guy said we could turn them around. So he wrote me yesterday and said, oh, yeah, I can get these.
That's great. I like to wear bandanas, too.
Yeah, so it'll be fun. So you'll get a nice bandana for your efforts and coming with us as well as lunch.
So let's just do a prediction. How many people do you think will come?
Ooh. I'm going to go high, I think.
Okay.
I'm going to say 120.
Oh, wow. I'm going to say 72, just because, I'm a medievalist and I like numbers.
All right, I'm going to write these down.
Okay, 120 would be awesome.
Price is Right rules.
Mm-hmm. And we're walking on the sidewalks in Lakewood, and
correct.
people know that we're coming to town, so, it'll be good.
Yeah,
and we're parking at St. Luke's, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, park at St. Luke's. And there's also probably on Bunts there, there's a lot of street parking. So if the lot is full at St. Luke's, which I doubt, there's additional street parking there as well.
Cool. Yeah, bring an umbrella or bring a raincoat maybe, but we're going rain or shine, baby.
We're going rain or shine. I'll be at the seminary for part of this, but then I'll head down and catch up with you probably around the end of St. Clement's to St. James is probably when I can get over there.
Okay, excellent.
So it'll be great. I've already walked it, though. So
that's Saturday morning.
Yes, absolutely. And then Palm Sunday, so this is the day before Palm Sunday that we're walking, and then Palm Sunday. What's your favorite part of Palm Sunday?
Oh, well, this I really love reading the Passion. And I do enjoy it when it's broken up in parts.
I like that too.
But this weekend I have the Mass at the seminary, and Agnieszka asked me, like, how do you want to do this? I said, I would love to read the whole thing. I love reading.
Yeah.
And I often have a deacon at Mass with me, so it means I don't get to read the gospel.
Oh, sure, yeah.
But I want to read it. But that just made me think, do I have a deacon at this Mass? I don't know. So I like reading the gospel. And this gospel this week comes from Matthew, and we'll talk about that a little later, but I like this one in particular.
Yeah, me too. I also like it when it's broken up in parts, and people have different parts to take on in the gospel. I think it's nice. It's a nice way to get the community involved in liturgy and particularly in Scripture. We had some great, when I was in New York, we were right near Lincoln Center, and so we had some great actors who would actually come to our church, and so a lot of them would take a role in the Passion all the time. They were their usual lectors as well.
Yeah.
And so they really made Scripture come alive, which was really great.
I always had the choir at my first parish be the crowd, and it was really cool the way that they jumped in and all. So
yeah. When people know what to do, it's really good. Yeah, liturgy done well. So Palm Sunday, and then last year was only the second time I'd ever been to the Chrism Mass.
Oh yeah, that's a big deal here in Cleveland.
Yeah, exactly.
Especially for priests, because we renew our vows, and it's we come down early, and I think we're at the Westin Hotel. So there's, I don't know how many priests come down, 300 priests, and we have a talk. Father Eric Garris has given the talk this year.
Nice, yeah.
I gave it last year, and so there's a talk, and then there's a little social, and then we have dinner, and then we've got time before Mass for the food to digest and to keep our fast, and then we start the big procession into the cathedral for the Chrism Mass, where the bishop blesses the oils, the 3 oils used throughout the year. That's exciting. He puts the balsam, which is the perfume, into the chrism, and then he breathes on it. We renew our vows. It's just a great Mass. It's awesome.
Watching Bishop, I had a fairly good seat for it last year in the nave of the church there, and watching Bishop Malesic.
Yeah,
today was really something. I was like really moved by it.
Yeah,
it was great. Hey, speaking of chrism, let's backtrack a little bit. This past weekend, they dedicated a new altar at my field ed parish, St. Brendan's in North Olmsted, and so I was part of that. I was actually the chrism bearer.
Oh, nice.
Along, and then 4 other people were behind me with smaller. Like I had the big stock that was in the ambry, and 4 other people processed behind me with smaller little cruets of the chrism. And Bishop Woost came to dedicate the altar, and he poured the chrism all over the altar and then got to massage it in. The 4 other people behind me poured into each corner, representing the community.
Did they have little crosses in it too in the altar or no?
That's a good question.
So I know before the council there used to be 5 crosses scored in the altar for the 5 wounds of Christ. I don't know if they have to do that anymore, or
I'm not sure. I don't remember. I didn't get a good look at the corners of the altar to be honest before they put before they covered the altar with the altar cloth.
Oh, okay. And was there a relic in the new altar?
There are many relics actually,
okay.
And I actually brought them up from Emily down in archives of Innocent and Donatus.
Wow.
Yeah, and there were femur bones on both of them. And so we transported those up to North Olmsted. And then Father Mark Hollis actually donated, and he was part of St. Brendan's. It was his first assignment.
Oh.
And so he donated a cross with a bunch of relics in it as well. And so we put those in as well. And then Father Tom Wooster, who's the pastor, he has a dedication to Blessed Pier Giorgio Frassati, and so he wanted something of his in there, so we have a 3rd-class relic of him in the altar as well. And then he actually went and bought a glass whale, because St. Brendan, as you know, the legend is that St. Brendan was traveling on his boat, and he pulled up to what he thought was an island, but it was actually a whale. And so he had said Mass on the back of a whale, and so he wanted the parish to know that when he's saying Mass now, they're saying Mass in the back of a whale. And so we put that in.
I've never heard that. That's funny.
Inside the altar as well.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah, it was kind of creative, so it was cool. But it was a lovely ceremony. I had never been to an altar dedication before, and so it was nice to do that, and I'm honored just to be part of it too. So it was great.
Cool.
So Chrism Mass, and then
Bruce Springsteen on Wednesday night.
Oh, very nice.
That's not part of Holy Week.
Where are you sitting?
I don't know. One of my friends got me a ticket, so we'll find out. Yeah,
very nice.
But there's nothing that night that I have to go to, so I figure I might as well do some cultural research at the Springsteen show. We'll see what happens.
I've put St. Brendan's on notice. We have Tenebrae that night, which I don't really have a part in. I can help if I want to. But Deacon Bob is doing the Tenebrae service, and I said I'll be there under one condition. I said if somebody offers me Springsteen tickets, I'm gonna go.
I think our Tenebrae is Monday at the seminary. So
very nice. Yeah.
And then Holy Thursday. Yeah. So I'll be at St. Wendelin because Father Bob Kropak, who's the pastor of St. Wendelin, is now the administrator also at Mount Carmel West. So the Mass is at 6:30. I'm really looking forward to that because that's my baptismal parish, as I think you know, and I went there up until I was in high school. So it'll be good to be back. And I look forward to washing feet. St. Wendelin put out a little call because they didn't have anybody's feet to wash, so we retweeted that, got that out there, and now there's 12 people who will have their feet washed. And then after that, I am going to walk to 7 different churches to do those station churches. So if you recall, we mentioned this on a previous website, we contacted 21 pastors in areas around Cleveland, so Tremont, Duck Island, Ohio City, Hingetown, Gordon Square, Lakewood, in downtown, in fact, where there are high populations of young adults, asking them to keep their parishes open till 11 p.m. so that pilgrims can visit 7 different churches that night, pray our Eucharistic revival prayer. And I do know that at least Catching Fire and I think Grapevine are going out as groups. I'm just going to start a group. I think I'm going to go to Wendelin, St. Pat's, Malachy's, Emmerich's, down Willie Hill, we'll go to Tremont, John Canchis, then I'll hit Augustine and Andrew Kim. I think
Nice.
that's going to be my route. So where are you going to be and where are you going to go?
So I'll be at St. Brendan's to start, and then when St. Brendan's ends, I'm going to go to 5 other churches beyond that. Probably in my neighborhood, I was thinking sort of the four
Lakewood
churches. Those are easy. So St. Luke's, Transfiguration, St. Clement, St. James. Probably go to my home parish, St. Chris's, and then at around 10:30, the folks from Catching Fire will be at St. Wendellin's actually, and I'm going to give a reflection at 10:30.
Oh, nice!
In front of the church, they asked me to do
great.
that, so I said, I said let's just be on the safe side. I said, why don't you put me at the last one so I can make sure that I can get there on time? So
that's cool.
So we're going to go over and do that. So that'll be fun. That'll be a good time.
I'm hoping that these groups like run into each other. So if you're listening and you're like, what is this? Can I do it? So we'll put in the show notes which parishes are staying open that late. And then it's just a great time. Hopefully we'll have good weather, and you could drive to the parishes, but some of them, they're so tight, you can walk too, which would be really cool.
The Catching Fire folks are doing that, actually.
Yeah.
They're walking, So.
Well, when I was in Rome, at least for 2 of the years there, because the 1 year I don't think we were allowed. I wasn't there for Holy Week because we were sent home because of COVID. But in the city of Rome, it's a tradition to visit 7 churches on the night of Holy Thursday after Holy Thursday Mass. And there's so many churches in the city. It's a little easier to do, but we have a lot of churches in our city too. So let's try it. And it's nice to walk. What else are you going to do that night?
Yeah, exactly, right?
Yeah.
And most people have Good Friday off too, so you could spend a little extra time as well. So it'll be fun. So on our next podcast, we'll talk about Good Friday and the Easter Vigil. But let's take one of our churches. So the other night, my wife and I decided to go do a fish fry, which we hadn't done all through Lent, believe it or not. We hadn't hit a fish fry. So I said, let's go to St. James, because it's a parish I haven't really spent a lot of time in, and we're doing the 4-church pilgrimage. So I said, let me go over here. And I got to tell you, we were so, we were really moved by the fish fry. Like, the entire community really comes out, and they were so welcoming. They made sure that we were really taken care of when we came in. It wasn't expensive, was the other thing.
Is it below the church? Okay.
Yeah, it's below the church. Yeah, and it was funny. As we were walking in, I went, oh, do you have I never carry cash, right? And I was like, you have cash? I said to my wife, she was like, no, do you have cash? I was like, no. So we might have to hit an ATM, and then we walk in, we see a sign, we take Venmo. I was so excited.
Nice. Yeah, St. James is a gorgeous church. It was actually one of those that was closed and reopened back in 2009. Yeah. The roof, I think, has some severe damage up there, but it's modeled after a church in Europe, I think particularly in Italy. But it's gorgeous. It's a gorgeous church, and the windows are stunning. So if you've never been there, you can join us on our pilgrimage this Saturday and check it out for yourself. I'll be giving a little reflection there.
Well, that's right. Yeah. So that'll be fun. And then someone there's going to be a fish fry there again, I think, this coming Friday, and there's actually some live music there as well. So
cool.
Guy come playing guitar, and there were a bunch of little kids, and so he entertained the little kids for a little while too, which I think the parents really appreciated.
It's a great part of town. Lakewood's awesome.
Absolutely. Yeah. And so then our scripture for this Sunday is Matthew's version of the Passion. And so what stood out to you in this one?
Well, Peter's denial of Jesus is interesting because, of course, we know he denies him 3 times, but in Matthew, the details, I think, are very interesting. So the first person who questions Peter, we hear, was one of the maids. So Peter's supposed to be this strong guy, and it's one of the maids. So it's a woman who comes over. You were with Jesus too, but he denied it in front of everyone. I do not know what you were talking about. Then he went out to the gate, and then we hear another girl saw him. So a girl isn't even a maid, but younger probably. Yeah. So not super threatening, but this man was with Jesus the Nazarene. He denies it. And then the 3rd time it was a bystander and said, your speech gives you away. So it wasn't like this was a soldier with a knife to his throat. It was a maid, it was a girl, and a bystander, and he still cowered when he shouldn't have. But of course, the good news is that the Lord forgave him. He became the first pope. But he had a really low moment there. That's like the worst thing he could do.
Yeah.
But I love that we know about it because, geez, at my worst moments, look what the Lord can even do with those. So that gives me hope. But I think it's kind of the lowest of the low there. You're supposed to be the rock, and you blew it big time.
Yeah, exactly. It's funny. We don't talk about what we're going to pick in the scripture. That's exactly what I picked as well to stand out. But I went just a slightly different way in that I said, Peter goes all the way down to the high priest's courtyard. All the other disciples ran. And I'm like, Peter walked all the way down to the courtyard. If I'm Peter, I'm nowhere near the courtyard, right? And I think we forget about that. We focus on the denial sometimes. We forget, man, he went a long way and then completely blew it.
Yeah. Well, it's similar to he gets up out of the boat, starts walking on water, and then he sinks.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
it wasn't until he encountered the resurrected Lord that he had the courage and the grace and the stamina to go for it.
Yeah, it makes you feel sorry for him sometimes too. Like, oh man,
you
were almost there.
But that's my life. I'm
right?
sure it's your life too. It's our life. Like, yeah, okay. And the great thing about the Gospels is that the apostles weren't afraid to share their weaknesses because they know it was in their weaknesses that they became strong. That's how the light gets in, as Leonard Cohen says.
Yeah, that's right.
Ring the bells that still can ring. Forget your perfect offering. There's a crack in everything. That's how the light gets in. I wish I had Leonard Cohen's voice, which is like 2 octaves lower than that. But
exactly.
Anyway.
No, that's great. And then, so that's the first part of Holy Week. So we took you through Holy Thursday, and we took you through Palm Sunday, the Chrism Mass, Holy Thursday, and that's it, right?
Yeah. We'll get Good Friday, and we'll get the Vigil, and we'll get Easter Sunday next week. But stay tuned. Hopefully we see you Saturday. Do make a plan to do those station churches for Thursday. Also, one of our young adults, Christa. Yeah, Christa did a wonderful video that we've been pushing out online, advertising the station churches. So if you see that, please retweet it, repost it, get the news out, and maybe invite someone who's never been to a station church before. All we're asking you to do is go in there and pray. And even if they don't want to pray, just like, hey, come for a walk with me. It's fine.
Yeah.
Visit some beautiful churches.
Yeah, a couple of times I've done this, and people have just seen that the church was open, and they've walked through. There was a guy on a bike one time
at St. Michael's.
Who walked in and said, I've never been in here before. And he goes, I've taken my bike past this hundreds of times. And he goes, this is such a beautiful place. I'm bringing my wife back tomorrow night. And he did.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It was great.
Maybe I'll bring a candle and walk around if it's not windy. And people are like, who's that priest with the candle? I probably won't do that, but whatever.
You can bring an electric one.
Yeah.
That's a little weird. But
yeah, it is. I'll bring a lantern.
There you go. That's a good idea.
Look like Ichabod Crane or something.
All right. And so hopefully the end of your Holy Week is going well, and we'll hope to see you Saturday, pre-Holy Week pilgrimage in Lakewood, and then maybe at station churches on Holy Thursday as well. So we'll have this and a whole lot more this Holy Week on Question of Faith.